Stop going on business trips. Right now.
What? What are you talking about? If I did that, it would inconvenience a lot of people.
So, it's okay to inconvenience me? You think dumping all the housework on me is fine?
I never said that. Plus, you barely do any housework when I'm away.
Shut up! How many times do I have to tell you not to talk back to me?
Anyway, I have to go on these trips. It would cause problems at work if I didn't.
If that's the case, then we're getting a divorce.
Again, with this talk. He hasn't changed at all. I'm Miranda, a 30-year-old company employee. I met my husband, Justin, at work. He was the representative for one of our clients. Our relationship started after he invited me to dinner following a meeting. After 5 years of dating, we got married. I learned halfway through our relationship that he was the only son of a company president. It didn't really matter to me, but it seemed important to him. He said most women change their attitude when they learn he's the president's son, often asking for more. But I didn't change how I acted, which made him think I was the right person for him. Him being the president's son actually complicated things for me. Since he was destined to be the next president, I had to quit my job and work at his company to better understand the business. It was hard to leave the job I had for 8 years, but I decided to join my husband's company and worked hard to learn everything. I didn't want to be seen as incompetent, especially as the future president's wife. So, I took on work proactively, even doing overtime. This made me popular with my superiors and colleagues, and I started to enjoy my work more. However, Justin didn't seem too happy about it. I'm home.
Welcome back. Working late again. Huh.
Yeah, it was another busy day. We're in different departments. But I'll have to learn all parts of the business eventually. We might end up working together at some point.
Haven't you been working overtime a bit too much?
Yeah, but everyone's swamped. I can't just leave early.
You really don't understand, do you?
What do you mean?
You'll be taken for granted.
By whom?
By the people at the company.
I was confused. How does working overtime together lead to being taken for granted?
You're going to be the president's wife. It looks bad for someone like you to be doing grunt work with everyone else.
Why? I think it's a good thing.
It's about maintaining your dignity.
I don't see your point.
Come on, you should understand that.
Why are you getting so upset?
I'm not upset. Just come home earlier. I'm starving. Make dinner.
He slammed the door and went to his room. I couldn't figure out why he was so angry. The better I did at work, the colder he became.
Why are you working so hard?
As the future president's wife, I need to work extra hard to learn the job.
You don't need to do all that. Just being the president's wife is enough.
I disagree. Then, why did your dad tell me to work for his company?
That's just a front for the other employees. Neither of us need to work that hard. Your main job should be taking care of the house.
I was annoyed by his words. I do prioritize work, but I don't neglect our home. I take care of all the cleaning and cooking. Meanwhile, he gets home earlier than me and does nothing. He leaves his shoes and trash everywhere, like a spoiled child. You can tell how he was raised. It's exhausting to handle all the housework after a long day at work, and our arguments kept increasing.
Why can't you just do what you're told? Stop working overtime and come home earlier.
Everyone's working hard. I can't just slack off.
Is your department full of people who can't do their jobs? Maybe they're intentionally slow to get more overtime pay.
What? That's ridiculous. Everyone's working diligently.
Whose side are you on? Mine or coworkers?
It's not about taking sides. You're saying things that aren't true, and I'm just setting the record straight.
If you dislike me that much, let's get a divorce.
Don't talk about divorce so lightly.
You'd be in trouble if I divorced you. But remember, you're the one who made me angry.
He said that, and again, retreated to his room. It was the first time he mentioned divorce, so I was taken aback and didn't respond well. Eventually, the fight didn't lead to divorce, thanks to the intervention of my in-laws. But I was genuinely worried about whether I could continue being married to such a hysterical man. My patience was nearly at its limit. After a busy period at work, I had fewer overtime hours, and my husband was quieter. But then, as I started traveling more for business due to a new project, I had to be away from home for 3 to 4 days a month, sometimes even a week. During these times, he was home alone, and he began to complain about my trips.
Why do you have to go on so many business trips?
I can't help it. It's part of my job.
You're just accompanying others, right? Smiling and nodding beside them. Why do you need to go?
What are you talking about? I'm the one in charge, and I'm the one dealing directly with the clients. I'm doing a lot of work and coordinating meetings.
Don't lie. You've been at the company for less than a year. How could someone like you be given such important tasks?
He wouldn't listen to anything I said and kept complaining about my unnecessary trips.
You just want to avoid housework. That's why you volunteer to go, right?
His accusations were too much. It was just nitpicking. Think whatever you want. I was tired of fighting head on, so I decided to let it slide. But even that seemed to irritate him, and he confronted me again.
You're mocking me, aren't you?
I'm not.
Yes, you are. Otherwise, you wouldn't act or speak like that.
Oh my God. This is so annoying. Let's just end this conversation.
Annoying? What do you mean, annoying? Don't mess with me. Annoying to talk to your own husband? Don't get too cocky. You wouldn't become a president's wife if you hadn't married me. Whether your life is a success or a failure depends on me.
His outrageous statements were unbelievable. Could such a person really become the next president?
Stop going on business trips right now.
What are you talking about? If I did that, it would inconvenience a lot of people.
So, It's okay to inconvenience me? You think dumping all the housework on me is fine?
I didn't say that. Besides, you don't do any housework while I'm away. I always end up doing everything when I get back.
Shut up. How many times do I have to tell you not to talk back to me?
Anyway, I have to go on these trips. It would cause problems at work if I didn't.
If that's the case, then we're getting a divorce.
Again with this talk. He hasn't changed at all. In the end, we fought, and I went on a 3-day business trip the next day. When I returned home, I expected the house to be a mess and to receive an earful from him. I felt depressed as I unlocked the door. But when I entered, the house was as clean as when I had left. I thought my husband had cleaned it. Maybe he had finally listened to me. But my happiness was short-lived. I found a piece of paper and a note on the living room table. A divorce paper. And the note had a message from him.
This is your fault. I'm serious about divorcing. I've gone back to my parents' house. If you don't want a divorce, come and apologize.
What is this? He left divorce papers and just left. And his part was already filled out. Perfect! I was more delighted than I had been in recent times. I immediately filled out my part and submitted it to the office. With my parents' help, I moved my belongings back to my home. I had successfully left the house. Justin called a few times. He was probably impatient because I hadn't come to his parents' house yet. I ignored his calls and went to the office. I then went to see the president, my father-in-law, and afterwards, we went to his house together.
You finally showed up. Why are you ignoring my calls? What's your problem?
Exactly. How dare you act like this as a daughter-in-law? Don't get too full of yourself.
Hey. What kind of way is that to talk? Dad? Why are you here?
Why are you with her? They hadn't realized. My father-in-law, Nate, was behind me and had been rude to me.
It seems what Miranda said was true. Dad? I don't know what she told you, but she never listens to me. Right? You know it too, Dad. She's slow at work, volunteers for unnecessary business trips just to avoid housework, and does whatever she wants. Fire her from the company. Make her focus on housework at home.
His self-centered words were unbelievable. I decided to stay quiet and let Nate handle it.
Justin, you're really hopeless. Miranda has earned tremendous trust from her colleagues in the same department. She's very capable. That's why she's trusted with important business trips. And you? What about you? Barely working, always slacking off, harassing female employees, asking them out, causing trouble. Moreover, you leave work right at quitting time and never do overtime. I've received complaints about you, not only from your department, but from others as well. I can't let you continue to damage the company's reputation just because you're my son. It's not Miranda who should be fired. It's you. What?
Wait, what are you doing? That's too harsh. Oh, my poor Justin.
Be quiet. It's because you always coddle him that he's become so entitled. I know I'm partly to blame too. I tried to discipline him whenever necessary, but every time I did, you undid it by buying him games, clothes, whatever he wanted. That's why my lectures never sank in. If you continue to spoil him like this, you'll have to leave this house too.
That would be a problem.
Dad, what am I supposed to do if I'm fired? I can't do housework, and being a stay-at-home husband would be embarrassing. Stay-at-home husband? What are you talking about? What? Miranda has already filed the divorce papers you presented to her. What? Hey, Miranda, why did you do something like that on your own?
Oh, your note said you were serious about wanting a divorce. I felt the same way, so I filed the papers with mutual consent.
You're kidding. The one who's been joking is you. Do you have any idea how much unreasonable treatment she has endured from you? Miranda, I'm truly sorry for my foolish son.
No, Nate, it's not your fault.
The house you and Justin were living in is in my name. I'll cancel it right away. What? What am I supposed to do? I've arranged a good job for you through an acquaintance. You can go there. It's a live-in position. Really? Dad, you do care about me.
That's great, Justin.
So, what kind of job is it? It's farm work in the countryside of Texas. They're short of men, so you'll be valuable there. What? No, you're kidding. I'm a man of my word. You're leaving tomorrow. I've even booked your flight ticket. No, I don't want to go there. Then, I'll have no choice but to disown you. Wait, would you really do that to your only son? If you don't like it, go work on the farm. Don't come back until you've changed your attitude. But, Mom, say something. Help me out here.
His mother, having just been warned by her husband not to coddle her son any longer, averted her eyes, unable to offer help. In the end, my ex-husband was sent off to rural Texas the next day. The place apparently doesn't even have Wi-Fi. He's now stuck in a land with only large insects and elderly folks doing farm work from dawn to dusk. Having always relied on money and modern gadgets and chased after women, this situation must be quite tough for him. It's a true case of just deserts. As for me, I continued with my current job, working hard. I recently got a promotion and now earn more than I did at my previous job. I plan to keep working diligently, building my career and skills.